Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the Startup Junkie. Of course, I'm your host, AJ. And today is a very, very special episode. Before we get into that, though, just a reminder, we are streaming live right here on my personal profile page on Facebook, as well as in the Startup Junkie live public group on Facebook and YouTube. So let me adjust the mic a little bit because today is kind of serious, okay? But I also want to remind you all, if you haven't had a chance, definitely check us out on all of our social channels and be sure to share this message. You want to know why? Because I'm quite sure that some entrepreneur, person that's looking to become an entrepreneur, or an entrepreneur that has a startup, or an existing business owner that may need to hear this message. And of course, you can share this message on all of your social channels, or you can check out the Startup Junkie live podcast on iTunes, iHeartMedia, Spotify, as well as TuneIn. And because we're giving it to you like that, we're uploading content on a daily basis. Now, all right, so today's show, let's talk a little bit about it. It's called Do You, all right? So let me tell you what inspired this. Of course, at the beginning of every show, I'm always recommending a book that you should read, some game you should play, or some podcast you should listen to, or some video you should watch on YouTube to actually help you along your entrepreneur journey, especially when you face hard challenges. But let me tell you, most of us who want to do something, we're always bound by the opinion of others, okay? We're bound by the opinion of others. And today I'm going to share with you four tips, or four what I call strategic tactics, okay, for you to do you and basically tell everyone else to go to hell. Now, the origin of today actually comes from a book that I actually started reading in 2008. As most of you know, from my sharing with you, that I started in radio, as an on-air personality, but I really got into radio just to be on the side of sales, right? Because I recognize that the people in sales actually made the most money. So here in Houston, Texas, I was one of the first to work in two different departments, working on the air, having a number one show for years on Magic 102 called Club Magic. And at the same time, I was a top account executive at 97.9 The Box, which at the time, both radio stations, that is, owned by Clear Channel Media and later bought out by Radio 1. So am I saying that to impress you? No, I'm saying that to impress upon you the reason why I'm recommending this book, and the reason why this particular book is the catalyst that actually inspired me to do this show today. Now, I got to warn you, you got to get over who read the foreword in this book, and you actually have to get over the quote-unquote sexual allegations against this person. But I'm telling you, as many of you, like me, probably experienced a tremendous or tumultuous time, 2007, 2008, with the economic crisis. Honestly, I lost everything, and as I've shared with many of you, I actually ended up living in my car for about a month. Yes, a lot of my friends didn't know. My mother was pissed. She said, "Hey, you could have came and laid on my couch." But who the hell wants to be a 30-something-year-old man laying on their mom's couch? Not me. All right, so here's the deal. When I started losing everything, I needed to pick up a book to actually inspire me, right? So even though this book was written in 2007, I didn't pick up this book until, closer to 2009. And the book is Russell Simmons' Do You, all right? Russell Simmons' Do You, 12 Laws to Access the Power in You to Achieve Happiness and Success. And yes, before you get started, I know about the sexual allegations. That's not the purpose of that. And don't be hypocritical, because many of you still listen to Michael Jackson despite the allegations, and many of you still rocking and bumping R. Kelly in your car. So chill with that, all right? So anyway, plus get over the fact that the forward is actually done by our current president, Donald Trump. So get over that. But let me tell you why this book inspired me. Okay. This book inspired me to actually get off my ass and stop feeling sorry for myself and start getting back in the game. Okay. In the game. Some of the 12 laws. Law number 1, see your vision and stick with it. Law number 2, always do you. That's always do you. And number 3, get your mind right. Okay. So you got to see your vision, stick with it. You got to just do you. Okay. And you got to get your mind right in order to do the first 2. All right. And so my whole thing is I'm recommending this book, and you can pick it up super cheap on Amazon. But this book it's pretty dope. Okay. It's pretty dope. It's kind of thick. So if you like audio and you don't feel like reading the book, definitely listen to the audio. You can get that through Audible. And we're not affiliates. We're not getting paid for suggesting for Audible to you. But you should definitely check out this book. So let me tell you why. All right. What inspired me? Well, first and foremost, I got into radio in the early 90s. Well, mid 90s, right? And I got into radio to get into sales, not to be on the air, but to get into sales because I recognize that whenever an administration would come along, the administration would actually fire all of the sale or change of an administration. They would literally fire all of the people that were on the air, right? But they would literally keep every account executive. Why? Because account executives generated sales. Sales is money, revenue, and revenue is the lifeline of any business. Okay. And that's sales. Now, okay. So I did that to get into sales, but I actually ended up on the air. Okay. I ended up on the air and I said to myself, I'm going to get into sales some kind of way. So what I did, I ended up in sales on the air at Magic, but I literally went to 97.9 The Box and said, hey, look, you don't have to pay me any money up front. You don't have to pay me a draw. A draw is when they give you money ahead of time because they know that you have revenue coming in. So they pay you ahead of time. And then once your money comes in, the money that you've made, they actually take it back from you. I said, you don't have to give me any draw. Make me a hired gun. Okay. Make me a hired gun. Pay me whatever I make. I just make. So I got out in the street. They agreed. I got out in the street, started hustling. I literally, in the first year, doubled my income. The second year, I went beyond tripling my income. And the third year, fourth year, by the time I got to the fifth year, I was fourth or fifth year, I was making 6 figures. Okay. Now, that was a long way from getting paid, $7-8 an hour, which honestly at the time was a lot of money. Okay. Was a lot of money. So here is the point. All along my way in radio, often I would have people tell me, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you have to wait your time. But I knew that it was up to me to determine, what my outcome would be. As the 10-letter word phrase goes, 10 two-letter word phrase goes, if it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. So I am telling you that if it is to be, it is actually up to you. Okay? It's up to you. But you have to be aware of 4 fundamental tactics, at least I think, and someone actually shared a lot of this content with me, that I think will actually help you along your entrepreneur journey. And with that said, I'm just going to get straight into it. Okay, here's the deal. Well, first of all, let me share this story with you. Okay, so like I told you, all along the way, people would say to me, oh, you can't do it, or you should wait, or it's not the right time for you to do it, or, it's going to get there, but you just got to be patient. Okay. I hate when fucking people tell me you got to be patient. All right. Especially when you know that you have so much value to offer to the world. All right. So when I lost everything in 2008, I said, you know what? I know how to make money, but I don't know how to keep money. Okay. I don't know how to invest money. I need to really educate myself. Okay. On how to, get in the game and play the game the way big players play it. So part of that was deciding to go back to school. Now, when I left school in the early 90s, I was a junior/senior in college, right? So I decided to go back to school late 2008, August 2008. Between August 2008, I completed 3 degrees, right? But in my selection of schools, I tried law school, but I got waitlisted, okay? If you don't know what waitlisted is, meaning you basically got rejected, right? Despite my numbers being good, I still got rejected. So I said, well, you know what? I wasn't really interested in that anyway. I'm only doing it because my wife's an attorney. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to business school. That's my passion anyway. So I went to Boston and I got my degree, right? Master's degree. Finished TSU, went to Boston, got my master's degree. Now, I said, I primarily went to Boston for technology. You know what I mean? So all the tech stuff that you see, this is most of the stuff I learned in the graduate program at Boston, right? BU. And I said, but you know what? I still feel like there wasn't any strong business fundamentals that I need some more business fundamentals, right? Because I literally got a master's in international marketing management with a concentration of doing business in Latin America. But however, I selected courses around tech, right? So I decided to go back to school. So I started looking at all the different schools that had successful CEOs, titans of industry. So I remember reading a story about how Jack Welch, who just passed March 1st, 2020, how Jack Welch, who's the chairman and CEO of GE, took it from like this 12 or $15 billion value company and focused on what they could be number one and number two in an industry and pushed it all the way up to almost $300 billion, right? And now I think the market cap for it right now is like $400 billion. But anyway, here's the point. So I looked at Jack Welch. I looked at what school he went to. And then I was like, wait a minute. Jack Welch was the chairman of GE. Also noticed the chairman of General Motors, the chairman of Monsanto's. Monsanto's is basically a drug company that been bought out by Bayer for $66 billion, and the chairman of the Singer Corporation. All of these people went to one school, right? And they were in one class all together, and it was University of Massachusetts Amherst, okay? And the year was 1957. So I'm like, damn, what are they doing over there that they keep having all these successful people, from actors such as Bill Pullman, all these different people, just super successful. So I looked at it and I decided to apply anyway. Now, I got to be honest with you. I didn't see a lot of people like me, if you know what I mean, like me, that was accepted to the school or actually went to the school. I'm not saying that that's a thing, but I'm just saying I didn't see a lot of people like me. So I decided to apply and I got in, right? And so let me switch cameras here right quick. All right. I want to switch cameras because this is kind of important, right? So I applied and I got in, and very few people get this, right? I literally got my MBA and I got this, okay? This shows that I put in the hard work. Again, many of my friends said to me, why would you do it? Why would you go back to school when you already have a master's? You need to get out here. And besides, you had made plenty of money without degrees. I said because I realized that making money is one thing. Keeping money and investing money is another thing, right? And I needed to be educated. Something that I couldn't learn just on YouTube, right? I literally had to go through the process, okay? So I got in and I did something that I was told, one, I shouldn't do, and two, that I couldn't do. Why? Because I didn't listen to others. So with that said, let's just get into the top 4 reasons why you should not listen to others and just do you. Okay. You have to understand first, the number one reason why you should do you and not just listen to others is because, And I got this from Percy Miller, Master P, when he was my client at 97.9 The Box here in Houston, Texas, when I was account executive. He said to me, man, there is no limit, okay? There is no limit. Man's biggest limitation is his lack of imagination. You get that? Man's biggest limitation is his lack of imagination. So, if you have a crazy idea, such as Steve Jobs had the crazy idea of a personal computer, because remember, at the time, computers were huge and they were taking like, warehouse spaces, right? A personal, compact, small computer in every home across America, right? Eventually the world, right? That was the catalyst and that was the spark that grew Apple, okay? Of course, now you have an entire computer in the palm of your hand, which is the iPhone, which was really the product that really catapulted Apple into stardom, so to speak, right? Because most of you probably don't know this, but when Apple first opened with Steve Jobs' idea, Apple in its first year made $100,000. That's it. It made $100,000, period, okay? I'm not talking about profit. I'm just talking about period, right? The second year made $100 million. So man's biggest limitation is his lack of imagination. So any crazy idea that you have that people cannot fathom it, just like people couldn't imagine the behemoth that Amazon has become, but Jeff Bezos saw that, right? People couldn't imagine, random people just sharing their houses with strangers. What is the market cap of Airbnb, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar company purely based on an idea, purely using other people's resources, such as their houses. All they did was put an app to it, okay, and marketed the shit out of it, okay? People could not fathom hitching a ride from a stranger, but yet we have what? We have Lyft and we have Uber. So man's biggest limitation is his lack of imagination. So if you have a crazy idea, just freaking fucking go for it, okay? So that's number one. All right. Number two. Oftentimes people, what they can't see in themselves, they can't see in you. So if they can't see themselves doing it, no matter how good intentioned they are when they're giving you advice, they're going to tell you not to do it. You know what I mean? So you just have to do you. You have to understand. Most people that give advice haven't accomplished shit in their life anyway. When I say accomplished stuff, I'm not saying not having a good life, because what is value, what is wealth is personal, right? Like you might be the best housewife, and to you, that's the most valuable thing in the world. That is your wealth. Some people have other aspirations, right? So there's some people who have no aspirations, who purely love the 9 to 5. They purely love making $50,000 a year, getting up in the morning, living the same existence every day, getting up in the morning, getting dressed, going to work, coming home, watching a movie, drinking a beer, and just repeating the process. Okay? So you have to understand, okay? What people can't see in themselves or can't imagine themselves doing, they oftentimes can't see you doing it. So no matter how good intentioned their advice is, they'll tell you not to do it. So you just have to freaking ignore that advice and just fucking do you. Okay? Freaking ignore the advice and just do you. That's what it's all about. Just do you. So that's my advice to you. That is number 2. Do you. All right? Do you, because people can't see in themselves what you're trying to do. Number 3, go with the craziest idea. Okay? I mentioned this in number 1. How does disruption happen? Okay? How does behemoth companies such as Netflix, Amazon, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, all these different companies, even companies that have been turned down and told that they were absolutely 100% stupid ideas on Shark Tank, CNBC, with Mr. Wonderful, right? This is the craziest idea. Shouldn't do it. Mark Cuban, I've seen a multi-billionaire who told people that your idea is shit, okay? Do you know that The Ring doorbell was basically turned down on Shark Tank because they said it was dumb. They said it was a dumb idea. It was a crazy idea. But that crazy idea worked to the tune of multi-billions, right? Especially when those type of companies get acquired by bigger companies such as Amazon, right? So you have to understand that often it is not the safe path or the safe idea, but it's the craziest idea that actually breaks through and penetrates. Okay. What is the number one energy drink in this country? I think it's 5 Hour Energy, right? But how successful is Red Bull? Extremely successful. I remember early in the game, early 2000s, I had a lady I was seeing, right? Early 2000s. She literally would drive around a Red Bull vehicle and get paid for it, right? Red Bull stuck with it, right? They thought it was a crazy idea to put their branding out there like that because it was so cost intensive, right? The burn rate through cash was so costly, right? But they stuck with it, right? Look where they are today. So if you have a crazy idea and you're having people tell you, oh, it's absolutely nuts, so that's probably the idea you should go after. Because remember, Steve Jobs was told that his idea was completely crazy. They even said going to the moon was crazy. Okay, hold on. All you conspiracy theorists that we didn't really go to the moon, it was some set. Forget all that, okay? Truth of the matter is we've seen rockets go to outer space with SpaceX, which is Tesla, right? Which is Elon Musk. We've seen that. So we know that space exploration is real, okay? So suffix all that to say, if you have a crazy idea, just go for it. You know what I mean? You might find that it doesn't work, or you might find that you need to tweak it in order to make it work. But don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. So just do you. That's how disruption happens. That's how innovation happens. And that's how the things that we have today in the world, such as sharing someone's home or hitching a ride with a stranger, actually has become a part of the norm. All right? So do your crazy idea. Just do you. All right? So, number 4. All right? Number 4. Nete queste vese extra. Nete queste vese extra. All right? Do not seek for things outside of yourself. All right? This is a quote from Waldo Emerson. Okay? Waldo Emerson. Now, I'm getting deep here. Waldo Emerson from his essay on self-reliance. This is also the catalyst or the spark to the 50th Power by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. That entire book was based on this, that 50 Cent always relied on himself. This is what Robert Greene came up with. In case you don't know who Robert Greene is, he is the authors of such classics as The 48 Laws of Power, Mastery, and a host of other books. But anyway, here's the point. Always look within. It doesn't matter what other people are saying to you. Look within you when it comes to doing something of great importance, great value that you deem important, that you deem valuable. Because remember, number 1, you have to realize that man's biggest limitation is his lack of imagination, but you have to have the imagination to go beyond the norm, okay? Number 2, in doing you have to realize that people often cannot see, okay? They can't see in you what they can't see in themselves, all right? Number 3, that might be a crazy idea. All right. It might be the craziest idea in the world. But the 4th and most important strategy, I believe, which is number 4, is nete queste vese extra. Okay. Do not seek for things outside of oneself. Always look into you. Always believe in you, that you can do it, that it doesn't matter what other people say. You can do it because you depend on you, and you should do you. And that's my message for today. All right. Again, the book is by Russell Simmons. Do You, the 12 laws to access the power within you to achieve happiness and success. If you can get past the sexual allegations against Russell Simmons and the fact that the foreword is actually being read, I don't think he wrote it. Somebody wrote it for him. But being read by Donald Trump, if you get the ebook, this book is very, very important. Okay? Very, very important. So all I want to say to everyone that's checked out the show today, I really appreciate you, Brother Harold. As always, King is in the house. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the likes. But I also ask you to share this content with someone that you believe that it can help. All right? Someone you believe that it can have a great impact. Remember those 4 strategies and tactics I said today. And also be sure to like and comment on the replay. Post your comments. Post your questions. I still will answer your questions. Okay? We'll still respond to you even if you're not watching the live. All right? And also be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live Monday through Friday right here on this social channel. Also, if you like podcasts, be sure to check us out on iTunes, iHeartMedia, Spotify, as well as TuneIn and a whole bunch of other little podcasting networks, and coming very, very soon. The StartupJunkieLive.io, the social networking site I've been telling you about. Oh man, we're going to open it up for beta in just a little bit. Okay, we're going to have a selected few people come in and give us their opinions about it. Because remember, any idea that you have to create what is called a lo-fi prototype. Okay, lo-fi prototype. All right, let people check it out, let people beta test it, and find out the quirks about it, and then improve. Okay, improve. And that's what we're going to do, because we're dedicated 100% to bringing the best content to you, bringing social platforms that you can use and access to things that you can use to actually help you along your entrepreneur journey. I'm AJ. Until tomorrow, everybody, I'm out. Take care, y'all.